players and the coaches as they come live to the podium. And lots to break down. This is kind of a weird series at this point right now for me. Dallas up 2-1. And when you look at the numbers, not their best game as far as shooting, but man, they got it done. And for the Clippers, just 90 points in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll go first with it. I'm gonna say it's a weird series for me. I expected Dallas to win, especially without a healthy Kawhi. Dallas has a lot of power, man. They're very good, and since the trade deadline, since they've gotten the pieces they've got, they've been playing really well. Kawhi is obviously not himself. Him and Paul George not scoring like they normally are, not aggressive. Him not getting the shots that he normally takes. I don't know if he's a minute restriction or what, but he played 24 minutes. I guess they did pull the plug early. But yeah, you need more of those two stars. Kyrie had 2 points pretty much going into the fourth almost, like toward the end of the third. Ends up with 21, outscoring Paul George and Kawhi together. They had 16. It's not enough. And 90 points is not enough with all the talent and scoring power you have for the Clippers. You got to find ways to score more, and that probably leads to the turnovers.
And DG, you mentioned about the supporting cast of the Mavericks, and I think they're the right pieces for this team. And you don't want to bring in guys that feel like they need to have the ball, but they've bought into understanding who Luka and Kyrie are. Obviously ball dominant, but they're great lob threats. And I've always said these guys were great lob threats that open up backside threes or just the floor for those guys to do what they need to do. And we're starting to see that, and they're buying in. I mean, P.J. Washington, I think, has been a fantastic addition, a third scorer, particularly with
Gafford.
And Gafford, but I'm saying particularly with Tim Hardaway Jr. out, not having shooter or another scorer, he's really picked up the load right now for a guy who doesn't have any playoff experience.
For sure. And in the last two games that we watched, I think it's the game of possessions.
Yes.
You know, the teams that have won have gotten a crazy amount more possessions at the rim. You know, Dallas had 16 more shots than the Clippers did. You can't win a game with that and also turn the ball over 19 times. It's just, especially in the playoffs, you got to be smarter, you got to be more careful, you got to be sharper, you got to be more locked in. And you can't have silly technical fouls and get ejected. Like, those type of things can hurt your group and your energy, moving forward.
I want to say one thing. We're looking at this veteran Clipper team who looks very fragile. And frustrated, and I don't think they're together. I mean, obviously Kawhi in and out of the lineup for most of the season, or just say guys in general, but they just look very fragile. And we saw the multiple technicals, blah blah blah. Russ kind of going off the deep end, frustration. And I think that's a testament to the Mavs defense.
Because they're not playing great offensively. They only shot 26 from three. But for them to turn them over 19 times, that's all defense. And Kyrie said not getting hot till that fourth quarter. Said 101 points to win by double digits and scoring 101 in today's game is kind of a rare sighting.
Or to say you scored 90 points in today's game is not very good.
That's back when you were playing, Vince.
Correct.
Not coming in. Hey, so let's get to these turnovers for a second here. Let's get some video here because, again, you said 19 turnovers, Vince. That led to 29 points. Is that just sloppiness on the part of the Clippers, or are we crediting Dallas's defense?
I'm going to say a bit of both. We're going to credit Dallas' defense, but DG said it. You playing in crowds, and at that point, you've done your job. You brought multiple people to you. Get off the ball and create shots for other guys. Right here, it's a close game, and you're the Clippers. You're up 3. You get off the ball, let it move. Let it move. There again, in the crowd, great hands. I mean, just active hands. And Dallas's defense right now, they've bought into what J-Kidd is selling, and they're active. I mean, these young guys they brought in are young, active players who are just, look at that, show, hands. I mean, you see everybody just flying around, getting to their spots. They're not late on their rotations, and it's creating easy baskets. Here again, just uncharacteristic, just turnovers, just sloppy play, losing focus. And I think, there it is. It's a 16-point game. You can tell the frustration of the Clippers, like we were saying, and now you tend to force the issue sometimes instead of just making the right play. It can be a long series, but if they meaning the Clippers, don't figure this out, this can be over soon.
A lot of credit to Luka, too. He's been playing defense. I don't know if you've seen, everybody's been going viral about the stat of him guarding Kawhi, James, and Russ, PG, those guys, of how they haven't scored on him. He's really taking pride on that end of the floor. And as you've seen in another clip, he's getting in the passing lanes, being where he's supposed to be, getting some steals. But they're playing in crowds, and they're showing their defense is really good. Being in a shift, being down, making it tough on them, not letting them, get one-on-one ISOs. and staying out of rotation. So, you got to give a lot of credit to Dallas' defense, and said Luka's really stepped it up a lot in the series.
Yeah, J-Kidd talked about that after game 2. He really said that he's been participating a lot more. As far as Luka Doncic is concerned, he's shooting 7 of 25 in this game. Yeah, he gets almost a triple-double. But this was the thing about the Dallas Mavericks coming into the playoffs and why they could be so special is because Kyrie, like you mentioned, at one point had 2 points. Luka's not shooting it great. And then Kyrie goes up. In this series right now, they're the 2 best players.
Yeah,
performance-wise so far.
Performance-wise so far, you would think, I said, 90 points is just unacceptable for the firepower that the Clippers have when healthy. I said, I don't think Kawhi is healthy. You see him taking 7 shots. That, to me, is concerning. PG, he took 11 shots, but both those guys had to be more aggressive. And this is one of the best teams in the league when healthy and playing at their best basketball, but the Clippers are just not showing it right now. And they said Norm played well, but they need those 2 guys for sure to step up and be more aggressive.
And I want to give Luka some credit as well. Over the past couple of years, what have we said about him? His willingness to allow the other star to do their thing and be themselves. And he's done that. He's found ways to play off the ball or to trust guys, either one. If we get in the paint there, it's not there, obviously I can score here, or I can get other guys involved. Or now you're seeing he sometimes defer to Kyrie because you have to utilize Kyrie's ability to score. We saw it here in into the third and the fourth. He can put up a quick 11, 15, sometimes 20 points in the quarter. And if you utilize his ability, it makes the game easier for him being Luka down the stretch or whenever you need to score.
You did mention Kawhi Leonard and taking those 7 shots. You know him better than anybody. Last game when he came back, he took 17 attempts. He goes 4 of 7 in this game. It's rare to see Kawhi Leonard with just 7 attempts. I know he only played 25 minutes, but maybe take us into the head of Kawhi and his approach usually anyways.
He just doesn't look like himself right now. He doesn't feel comfortable in that just because of rust. He hasn't played a lot of practice or physical, man-to-man bumping bodies, that type of thing. His first physical contact was in the game, last game. So it's going to take him some time. I think he'll get back to himself. But the more concerning thing for me, for all of these guys, not just Kawhi, was the turnovers. Him having 4 turnovers usually takes care of the ball better. James had 5, but they had 19 as a group, and those 2 guys handling the ball the most. Having that many turnovers is a key thing when you're playing against this Dallas team who's said having a bad shooting night. You got to win a game like that when they're shooting that poorly.
Yeah, Ty Lue and both Kawhi said after last game, it's a rhythm thing. It's going to take a little while for Kawhi to get back into it. Ty Lue did say after the last game, he felt good after game 2, even though they lost, because they played well defensively. And he's like, the baskets will come offensively. But now that's 2 games in a row. They got 93 last time, 90 this time, Vince. There's got to be a little bit of concern there.
Yeah, when you're struggling to score, you utilize or you lean on your superstars to find a way. I mean, you want your stars early to make plays for your complementary guys, your role players. But when we're stagnant, when we're struggling to score, you want them to step up. And it's tough when your star player can't put the ball in the bucket for whatever that reason is. I mean, you're thinking 7 for 18 between PG and Kawhi. I mean, for only 16 points, that's tough when you're, like you said, you only scored in 90 points. So, where are you going to find some other scoring? James Harden stepping it up, scoring. He's still facilitating, but you have this group of Harden, PG, and Kawhi. You're expecting to get it done, particularly, defensively, but offensively as well.
I just don't like also the sense of urgency. The body language, what I'm seeing, guys, not saying quitting, but you can see there's parts of the game where the white flag is kind of coming out the pocket a little bit. And that starts with, just getting into the antics, getting frustrated, things like that. And the things Ty Lue were saying are great things. They're right. But unfortunately, the timing of this sucks of these guys being hurt because this is not the regular season. There is no, we can give a game or 2 of figuring it out. This is the playoffs. There is no time you better figure it out now because you're going to be going home. There is we need 5 games to get rid of them. You don't have those games to lose at this time of the year to figure it out. You need to get it going as soon as possible, and it has to happen next game because it's a must-win game. Obviously, every night's a must-win game, but they go back to LA down 3-1. This series is over.
Yeah, and you're messing with a team that was one of the hottest teams down the stretch, the Dallas Mavericks, again up 2-1 in